Hello guys, this is Eric from Techpreneur TV, and today I have a guest, Anastasia, and is the crowdfunding expert, and we're gonna talk about how crowdfunding works and how you can get into it. So my first question is how crowdfunding works and what I can get from it.
So rewards crowdfunding works in the way that you have a final product or prototype and you want to launch it to market. And so you can run a crowdfunding campaign and you can ask people if they like the product, they can pre-fund you into production. So you're raising funds before you actually go into manufacturing.
What's the different side of campaign crowdfunding? You know, you can get equity crowdfunding or perks or pre-order
There's several different options of crowdfunding. So there's equity crowdfunding where people are backing you in exchange for shares in your company. There's rewards crowdfunding, which is you're getting the product or the thing in exchange. There's also debt financing, and more models within crowdfunding have developed since crowdfunding started in 2008.
When I actually, for example, have idea, like I wake up this morning and have a tech idea, what stage of the startup I can get ready for crowdfunding? How long I need to wait? Or
within technology, the best type of crowdfunding is if you have a physical product, so a hardware product or a design product. And the best stage at which to crowdfund is when you have figured out all of the tweaks in the product and you have the design for manufacture prototype. So you're just crowdfunding before you go to production.
Yeah.
That's the best stage.
And what kind of goal I need to set? Well, I know this is just a target goal of crowdfunding if I need for my products. It's only for proof of concept or just for me to sell the product as well? Or?
So the goal is dependent on a few things. It depends on why you're crowdfunding. So if you're crowdfunding because you absolutely cannot make this product without a certain amount of money, then that is your goal. But more and more working with brands that don't need the cash, they will choose a goal based on the amount of money that they think is reasonable, but they're not totally dependent on that amount of money. And you always have to be pretty strategic with the goal that you choose. So typically you want to try and pick a goal that you can hit quite quickly so that you get momentum and then you end up raising more than the actual financial goal that you've set.
Yeah, I mean, most of investors, they require kind of proof of concept ideas, so that they actually like if someone crowdfunding the project. But like I say, sometimes amount can be too small in this case to deliver the product. You know, as we know, most companies they don't. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the biggest problems with crowdfunding is that people don't necessarily know how much they need to bring the product to market. And they've never done it before. So they've never manufactured a product in China or they've never manufactured at scale. And so they set a goal amount, they raise their goal, and then they realize that there's a lot of other issues to actually bring that product to life.
So what would be the secret sauce of the success company?
So if you're looking at success in terms of money and raising money on crowdfunding, there's a couple of things that you really need to focus on. One is preparation. So I would say work on your campaign for several months before you actually launch it. Think about your customer, think about finding them. Where are they online? Are they in blogs? Are they in forums? Are they on Facebook or are they on Instagram? Start talking to them and testing out your marketing message and really kind of figure out how you can build up that community, your tribe of people before you launch, because they're the people that are going to help you get to a certain amount before you actually go out to the wider community.
So I have to create my own community, bring my own community.
Unfortunately, there's this idea that there's this magical garden of crowdfund backers out there in the world that as soon as you launch your campaign, they're going to run and back you. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist. It was more of a reality about 5 years ago when crowdfunding was new and exciting, and so people wanted to look at products and come and fund them, whereas now you really need to have at least 30-40% of your goal from your own community and your own tribe. It tends to work in about 30-40% of your own community, and then they reach out to their community, which is the next 30-40%, and then the remaining tend to be strangers because people work in a herd mentality.
How many days it takes to get momentum from the beginning campaign? Like you say, 30-40%, I'm going to bring my own community, but as far as I noticed, most campaigns, they succeed in 4 or 5 days of time. Like first week is very important.
Yeah, it's very important. The first 48 hours, I would say, is the most important part of your campaign. So you can talk about it as a soft launch. So it's a time in which you're getting your own community to come in and essentially validate your campaign. So that a stranger or a journalist looking at the campaign sees that people care and they like it and they're excited by it. And typically in those first 48 hours, you get a pretty good indication of how much you're going to raise and whether you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and for the tech startups, actually, what will be the best perks, rewards, like a part of products? It can be something else, or can be something.
I mean, you can crowdfund for anything on other major platforms, for sure.
Like give a knowledge or exchange knowledge during the
crowdfunding. Yeah. I mean, if it's software is historically very hard to crowdfund for because people don't tend to want to back software because they think it's free, or they're used to paying $1.99 for an app in the App Store, and so they don't necessarily want to fund your software development. And it's not sexy, it's not exciting to fund software development. But sure, you can definitely offer your knowledge, you can offer people in your network, you could do workshops, offer mentorship, early access, content is always a really good thing.
Yeah. What is like kind of crazy rewards that you saw in the last couple of years, like ordinary, unique?
Well, I've seen so many crazy rewards. I've run hundreds of crowdfunding campaigns in a lot of different categories, and some of the great ones will include things that are very focused on their community. So it could be a film, or it could be a band, like a music album, and the rewards are very much focused on the types of people that are in their tribe and that are excited by them. So they can be anything from being in a movie, like being an extra in a movie, or getting to come backstage at a concert, or if you're making something, maybe someone gets to come and be part of the creative process and come to a workshop like this and actually 3D print the first lot of prototypes.
Yeah, I have a chat actually with one of my friends about creating the movie campaign. So it's kind of directing the movie, and all the actors could be like people, backers, to be on the movie. So
absolutely. I mean, you want to try and involve your backers as much as possible. Even with crowdfunding campaigns for products, people are backing you because they want the product, they want the thing, but they're also backing you because they want to support it and they're excited about the creative process. So inviting them into that, kind of like shining a light on the process behind closed doors, like in your studio or in your manufacturing plant, like showing people what it takes to create a product is really exciting. You want to try and invite people into that process.
Yeah, and what would be like kind of the best social media platform to create this buzz? Like people using Twitter, Facebook, or email marketing, or...
Yeah, it totally depends. So social media does account for a really strong amount of buzz or creating momentum towards your campaign. Email is still the most effective and the easiest tool to use to drive people to fund you on your campaign. But it's about knowing where your customers are. So, if you are an apparel brand and you make amazing high fashion, they're very likely to be on Instagram because it's a design community and people love imagery.
Yeah.
But if it's something more like software, maybe your audience is within a Facebook group or on Twitter. So you really need to do that research into where your customers are online and which platform, rather than just going for an all-platform effect.
Yeah, exactly. The email, like I say, I heard about something like direct email is most powerful, but if you have a lot of connection and people, they send this mass email, it's kind of like spamming someone.
Yeah, when we talk about email marketing, it is a qualified list of people that are excited about your product.
Yeah.
So one of the key elements in preparation is your pre-launch marketing strategy. And one core factor of that is email marketing, in that you set up a landing page and you explain what your product is and how much it is maybe, and show an image of it, and then you send that out to people and you say, if you like this product, if you think it's exciting, then sign up here to pre-order it when it launches.
Yeah. I know you are running a new company right now, born.com, and can you tell about more what it's about and how this crowdfunding platform is going to work?
Yeah, so Born is a premium online platform dedicated to beautiful products. So creators can showcase their products, their brands, and themselves and they can also finance new products to market, which is the crowdfunding element.
Yeah.
And for consumers, Born is a place where you come to find, fund, and buy beautiful design products in 4 categories. So we have technology, innovation, fashion and accessories, sports and leisure, and home design. So if you like beautiful products, then you come to Born and you find those. And some of those will be crowdfunding and you can back them. And every year we have an awards ceremony called the Born Awards, where we celebrate the best creative leaders of the world. And that's with emergent designers that maybe are crowdfunding, as well as big brands like Land Rover and Tag Heuer. But in terms of the crowdfunding element, it's one piece of the puzzle. So our vision is to build a market network for beautiful design products. And crowdfunding is a service that we offer to people.
So you're helping with all the preparation before campaign, yes?
Yeah, I mean, the crowdfunding service is quite different to the major platforms out there. We're trying to address a couple of the major issues that crowdfunding has right now, one of which is curation. So the major platforms out there have little to no curation, which is great for them, and they are doing an amazing job at being very open and taking any kind of product in any category. But for us, our community, because they love design products, they want curation. And so from a brand's perspective, you want to know that you're going to be next to something that you would want to be next to, because you've invested time and money into creating a really beautiful brand. And from a consumer's perspective, you don't want to have to trawl through thousands and thousands of products that aren't interesting to you to find a really cool product. And then the second element is trust. So, it's no secret that a lot of crowdfunding success stories have become disasters or nightmares. And the reason is because a lot of these people that are bringing products to market have never done it before, and so they deliver late or they never deliver. And so at Born, we only work with small and medium-sized brands. So often they've brought products to market before, they know how to do it, they have a manufacturer, they have a pretty solid supply chain. And we also only work with people at the design for manufacture stage. So they're pretty much ready to go when they run their Born campaign.
Some traction already, at some moment.
Yeah, and they've gone through the prototyping stage process, so they've figured out all of the tweaks and the errors and the issues. So it means that if you back a campaign on Born, the likelihood is you'll get it in a much shorter timeline than you would on another platform. Yeah. And that's one of the interesting things, is that we're not just going after the super early adopters, which accounts for about 13.5% of the population, where you really want that smartwatch and you don't care what it looks like and you're willing to wait 2 years for it. We're going after the early majority, which is 34%, which is, okay, fine, you might want to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 months for a product, but you're never going to wait 8 months, 2 years for a product. And so it's approaching.
Time is going to be much more shorter, and
and you're going to get your product.
Yeah. Yeah, so is how long is going to the campaign last on your?
It's very similar in terms of a timeline. So crowdfunding works best in a short amount of time. Typically between 35 and 45 days is an optimal time to run a campaign, because it gives you long enough to reach a large amount of people, but it's not so long that you lose momentum and you get tired, and the long nights that you have when you're running a crowdfunding campaign can be tough.
Exactly. Yeah. Are you planning approach the different countries? Or,
Born is a global crowdfunding platform. So we are open to any country. We have offices in London and New York, and all countries are really welcome. But when you look at the design led countries or destinations, we are working with a lot of European products. So you'd imagine like Paris, Milan, London, but then also New York and Portland and places in the US and Asia. So anywhere where you see and you feel great, beautiful design products, which can be anywhere in the world, are welcome on Born.
When people can find you if they have any question about Born?
They can email us. They can follow us on social media. So we're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at Born News. And they can email me, Anastasia at born.com, and we are launching a new product which is called Showcase, where brands can show off what they're doing and tell their story in June. So you can sign up at just.born.com if you want to be one of the early registers.
Okay. That's great. I don't have any more questions, so thank you very much. And anyone want to get in touch with Anastasia, born.com.